There. Welcome to Tech Talk Weekly. I'm Bob from Creation Station. This is our weekly show where we get together with one of our guests from around the library system, talk about two or three of the fun tech or creative stories out there in the world, give you some fun, cool library fact, and get you on your way for the week. Today we have Billy Allen, one of our star librarians out at the Pembroke Pines Library, Walter C. Young. How are you doing today, Sir Billy?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Ain't nothing but positive vibes. How you doing?
It's always great. Oh, it's great. It's been a really good day. We had our first Creation Station team meeting in a while today, talking about how we're moving things going as the libraries get more and more open. So it's been a lot of fun. We're doing good things. You guys are still doing filming out there yet?
Yeah,
For your little space?
Yeah, we got a lot of great things going on. You know, of course, we're getting ready for the summer learning program. We're getting ready for National Library Week. We got a lot of fun stuff we're going to do tomorrow, record some commercials for Librarian Appreciation Day. You know, it's all about getting creative and providing resources for the community. So,
yeah, and it's a lot of fun to reach them out whichever way they can. And it's the kids we've had them here too. They're all fired up about, getting in and doing the different stuff. Okay. I'm just going to share my Chrome right away and get started because there's a handful of things this week that were really interesting that I think we're just going to blow some people away on this.
Okay.
And again, if anybody has questions, toss them into the chat and we will bring those up for you. And our first story today is about 5G, and it's not that it's dangerous. This is actually a function of all the wireless networks that we've always had and everything like that. It's just 5G has got the right bandwidth and the right resonance to use for power, which is just an awesome thing. So this team out of Georgia Tech figured out how to print an antenna. It's about the size of a playing card. And I'll show you a picture here so you can see it in their hands. And you could wrap this around a cell phone. You could wrap this around an armband, put it into your clothing or whatever, and it would work as a power antenna to accept power coming in from anywhere.
Okay.
I mean, it's really a cool idea. It's something that's already there in the air. It's something that you need to be able to just grab out with that. A little bit of tidbit for you, Billy. Did you know that way back in the day, that's what Tesla's original power plan was?
Really?
He wanted to put up power generators and just broadcast power for free through the air. And him and Edison, that's one of the arguments that they had. And Edison wanted it in wires so people could control when you get it.
Wow. Now, I didn't know that.
So we're moving all the way around to another thing. And how much of the 5G stuff have you seen? Have you actually seen any 5G really in the world yet?
I haven't. I was curious, even just looking at that. So they will place it near their device. So would it
yeah. Well, that's the thing. You would just build it right into the device and it would just immediately do it. So if right now it's at credit card size. So like a watch, that uses, super low power. And smartwatches, no, but like my little disc battery that's in my watch, this is almost able to start powering something like that. Yeah, it's 20, 30 times the size of this battery still. But I mean, they've already got it to there just on their very first try. Bing, they got it to that.
So is this going to be implemented as far as just for cell phones, or what is this for?
Anything, because it goes on the resonance of the frequency. So it's not that you're sending power necessarily out. It's not something that's harmful like a microwave going through your body. It's just that this is they figured out a way to harvest that resonance as it goes up and down to transfer that into power.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I know, isn't it?
It's going to be expensive though.
Well, there's always that idea, and it's the first versions are always super expensive, and as they build that down, so it says that it took them 6 years to get to this point, where it'll just work on its own like this. So we're gonna see where this could actually happen.
Do they have an ideal launch?
No, this is out of university. So this is all, proof of concept. They've made it work and now, get some commercial funding for it kind of thing to go build and do this kind of stuff. So it's going to be an interesting way out there. It's an interesting future.
So besides like bandwidth, like what would be other possibilities? Like with me being a gamer, or like
Yeah.
the real benefits of
So
5G?
you could, well, so in this case, for this power thing that they're doing, you could build it into your controller. And now
Oh,
your controller doesn't need batteries anymore because your wireless router at the house puts out a 5G signal. And so you, this would be built into your wireless controllers and you wouldn't need batteries anymore.
oh, I need that. I,
Yeah, isn't that? And going with our theme of games here, this you brought a really interesting story in about Xbox and Nintendo and PlayStation with video game preservations. And I think that this is an interesting story from a library point of view. But first, you tell me yours. Tell me about this from the gaming point of view.
um, like you say, it goes hand in hand as far as a library perspective. But as far as like video game preservation, and I was just thinking about libraries as far as the PlayStation has closed down their PS3, PS Vita, and PSP online stores. Now, due to the new systems like PS5 or the new Xbox One, Series X, excuse me, people still want to have that nostalgia of accessing old games. That's never going to go away. So, with all these systems transitioning to digitized content, it's like, okay, if you're erasing this, if you don't have a physical copy when it came out, how are you going to be able to have that experience? Because the manufacturer is pretty much controlling the preservation.
Yeah. I mean, and this is along those lines of if anyone's ever gone out there and seen, there's those little museums kind of thing that they still have the Commodore computers and the old Apple IIe's still running and working and stuff like that. In fact, I saw somebody just put some kind of messenger Twitter app thing on a Apple IIe. I mean, just like figured out how to use an old thing like that. Just insane, crazy stuff. But yeah, and then this gets back to, who should be archiving this? Who should be doing these sorts of things? The Library of Congress up till now still doesn't have a way of archiving this kind of thing. We figured it out for music. We got to figure it out for games.
They have to. You look at like GameStop for an example, where you can sell your used systems, games, and I'm pretty sure, like, I mean, I've been a gamer all my life, but I don't even have all my systems, like the NES or the Sega Genesis, the Atari, the Jaguar 64. So it's like, if I wanted to have access to this, you're going to have certain manufacturers that are probably going to be like, either you're going to have to pay for it,
Yeah.
or they're not even going to release it. Just like they're dissolving the Super Mario 3D All Stars. Like that is a popular entity as far as preservation for video games.
Mm-hmm.
So my thing is, as from a librarian perspective, like you said, Bob, what do the Library of Congress do as far as accessing these rare video games?
Yeah. This is culture. It may not be. I'm not a gamer, but that doesn't mean it's not important for a lot of these people growing up and all of these things. I mean, I still remember the old ancient. I remember playing Asteroids on an old Atari, but I just it's one of those complicated things. Now that we're in a digital age, how do we stop these deserts from happening where all of a sudden the people who lived in the time know all about it, but the people afterwards just have no idea what it was like for your grandparents to live in this time of being 2 or 3 different devices you had to have in your house instead of just beaming it all through the cloud.
I'll give you a good example. So on the PS4, there was a game that was released digitally called PT. It was like a demo of Silent Hill, and it was extremely popular that the developers from Konami did not even finish the game, but it was like a huge game within the gaming community. But if you didn't download the demo, you wouldn't have access to it. So they took it off the store. So if you didn't have it stored on your PS4, you couldn't experience the game. So now think about this, Bob.
Can you share it? Could I borrow your copy from your PS4?
Essentially, yeah, if you have a external hard drive. So
okay.
What if you don't? Let's say I got 5. I can't even transfer that old game because that company pulled it. So it's just stuck on that system.
Yeah. And that's one of these rare things where we're coming back to round out this story. Microsoft is the one company out of all of them that's doing it right and making sure that everything is available and still, archived for you, and you can still get to all their old stuffs online and everything. So it's really weird that the one company has been in gaming the least out of all of them is the one doing the best at maintaining their old legacy stuff and doing. It's really weird.
Selling point for that brand. Yeah, I agree.
And then speaking of Microsoft, the other big story that was this week was they released a huge stuff on LinkedIn. So anyone who's used to thinking about LinkedIn as just, I go up here, I put my resume and that's it. They have radically changed what you can do with LinkedIn over the last few years. And particularly now with this new update that they just ran. One of them is being able to put video into your profiles. And another one, and you're a creator there, Billy. I know you've got a whole side gig of doing stuff out there. In the past, you probably couldn't have been in there as an influencer because they had to reach down from their throne and decide you're an influencer. But now you can just claim to be a creator and get all these functions added to your profiles for you, including putting together a spec sheet where you can actually give people a chance to charge, what you charge and do these things. Here's the little video snippet you can see up here on this. I can see those are going to be really interesting.
They're adapting because, we are in the era of the content creator and social media, it's undeniable. So they had to adopt some of the features of an Instagram, a Facebook, or even YouTube. YouTube is doing that as far as the stories. So any way you can market yourself, not only professionally, but these content creators, I've seen a list, Bob, that from a student perspective, as far as top of list of occupations they strive to be, number one was a content creator. Over teachers, even athletes, it was content creators. So this broadens the scope of
Here you go. See right there. Content, the example they use, content creator, demand generation, etc. I mean, these are real world jobs nowadays that people are getting paid for. And that's what's really interesting about this. And like you said, LinkedIn, Microsoft as a company is the one recognizing this and making this really happen for them and be able to push this stuff out. The only thing they're missing directly on here is chat. And that's another story that came out within 3 days. 3 different stories on LinkedIn came out this week, and I'm like, okay, I can see a theme. I know what I have to talk about. They're going to go in and try and do a chat room Clubhouse kind of imitation thing of doing audio presentations, so you could have an audio Clubhouse on your LinkedIn profile where schedule little lectures and stuff like that for people to come listen to you and do the stuff. It's supposed to be rolling out and testing. This is one of the things that's not out yet, but it was part of the LinkedIn news, so I wanted to share it. Isn't it? If you could just set up a little thing right there. Hey, I want to see how Billy does. I'm going to go click on his thing and schedule a thing right there with him, and now he can do a presentation for me live. That's
cool. I mean, I'm on Clubhouse, so for LinkedIn to adopt that, that's genius because you talk about professionals. I mean, they could even contact coworkers, affiliates of people that they know and talk about your profession, talk about the particular employee. I mean, it's a lot of different avenues they can go with that, and they could get a lot of momentum with that.
I think so. Yeah, I do. I'm part of on a Discord where because Clubhouse, by the way, if anybody out there doesn't know what Clubhouse is, it's a iOS only app. So you have to be on an Apple device, and it is still invite only. But the invites are pretty easy to come by. And then you, it is basically chat rooms. And instead of doing it chat like you would in a messaging app like WhatsApp or something like that, you're doing this by voice only. And everybody's in there, and you have 1 or 2 people who are leading the conversation. And some content creators have done some really big things on there now and holding, massive conferences where they're lecturing people and stuff. Yeah. So this is an interesting idea of how to link this together. And I wonder what we talked about this last week actually on the show about how Clubhouse, how are they going to make money and be able to fund all this background architecture that they need to do. Microsoft doesn't have to worry about that. Microsoft's got the architecture. Microsoft's got that hardware to run this thing on. It would be really interesting to see an old stodgy company like Microsoft come and take out someone like Clubhouse.
It's easy. I think it would be easy.
Yeah.
Being that LinkedIn is so popular, like you say, Clubhouse only pertains to Apple users. So they're opening up the whole demographic to reel those people in. So that's very genius.
Yeah. We've on my Discord, we have Smart House is what we call it on my Discord for our little imitation one there. And finally, the other news story about LinkedIn this week was Microsoft. Not only the headline is Microsoft targets 50,000 jobs, which is a nice thing, 50,000 jobs. Oh. And what they mean by that is Microsoft is going to intentionally train 50,000 people to get them hired into the tech field. Great story. Very nice thing there. I think the part that gets buried is down here where LinkedIn Learning is offering free courses. It used to cost you $30 a month to belong to LinkedIn Learning. I'm going to get to that in a second. And now they've made a chunk of it free till the end of 2021. They expected they would have 25 million people over the course of the first year try this out during the pandemic. They had over 30 million people end up doing it.
Nice.
And I think the funny quote that they did pull was not expecting 91 different participants from Antarctica. Have you done any of the stuff on LinkedIn Learning yet?
I haven't. I was looking at it the other day, but I haven't participated in it yet.
So for those out there, this is our cool library thing. So yes, I'm very psyched and happy about Microsoft doing this.
Yeah.
Because helping people learn, help pushing this out to people, retraining, reskilling people. I guess reskilling is the new term they're trying to push rather than retrain, which is a really nice way of thinking about it in that. But the library's been doing this for a few years, people. So for our cool library fact today, if you come to the library website and you come up here to our A to Z directory of resources, you scroll on down to the L's, and we always had lynda.com, which is the original name of LinkedIn Learning before Microsoft bought out LinkedIn Learning. And when you click there, it's going to take you to your login page. You're going to log in. I'm not someone who knows my library card off the top of my head. So let me dig that out and type it in really quick. Live radio, everybody.
Live. Hey, you don't get no better than that.
Yeah, making sure we type in passwords live online is always fun. And I typed something wrong.
Live tutorial.
Yep. There we go. And so you get a chance to come in, and this shows you all the different types of courses that you can go in and take and things like that. I was doing a Webflow course, but you can come up here to browse and you can see all the different things, all these business courses that are here for free. And I think that this is something that anybody should be able to come in and use, and anyone will find this stuff interesting, and you'll find a little bit of a thing to do. But it's not just Excel and PowerPoint and Outlook, etc. Come take a look over here in the creative classes.
I've done some 3D printing now. I'm thinking about some 3D printing tracks.
Yeah. For 3D printing, there's music classes in here, photography classes, video classes. You could learn how to play a piano through LinkedIn Learning. And so, yeah, I talk about this with our new hires for the county, that I want you to go explore and learn this stuff, because you need to be a well-rounded individual out there in the world. And you can't just, I don't care if all you know is Excel, that's not going to do me much good. I'll use you sometimes, but if I can get you to think about the other parts, then maybe you'll be able to contribute more overall for the team in doing that stuff.
Yes.
What kind of classes have you been thinking about taking, Billy?
As you know what I do outside the library, video editing, post-production. I feel like those are so important to have as far as skills. You talked about LinkedIn having the content creating platform. We're in the era of content creators. I feel like that's a skill that's going to be vital as we transition to what was the term you was talking about as far as skill training, retraining?
Reskilling.
Think about it. Due to the pandemic last summer, we had to transition to virtual programming. So we're having more staff members learn how to deal with Adobe Premiere and these other platforms. So reskilling is like really vital. It's not going nowhere.
I did 177 staff classes on how to present on WebEx since the pandemic started. So about a year now.
Yeah. You'd be surprised how tech savvy people are once they get exposed to it. The learning curve is not as high as you think it is. But, I think these type of resources break down that anxiety of helping people wanting to learn how to develop these skills. So, like I said, this is it's not going nowhere.
No, I think this is, and we're in a good space where everybody has now realized, oh, wait a minute, we can do this. I don't have to go to some physical school. I can go do this. I mean, I did all of my college online. I mean, I was the first group for FSU to graduate entirely online.
Wow.
For my bachelor's up there. Yeah, I did nothing. I have never been to the campus. I don't even know what it looks like. So yeah, no, it was fun. It was a really good time. So thank you so much for this, Sir Billy, for coming and hanging out with us today. Tell us, what else is going on out there? What's going on in your content creating world out there outside of the library? Tell us about it.
So I have a platform, Three King Visions, which is a storytelling platform where we help kids develop a lifelong love of reading. You ever seen Blue's Clues, Reading Rainbow? It's kind of merged into one. We try to be creative as far as making reading fun, and not just for the parent and the child, for them to come together and have an experience. So I've been doing that for 3 years. Get wonderful reception. The platform is growing daily.
Good.
So that's what I do outside the library, man. I'm just trying to impact.
And what's going on there at Walter C. Young for you guys?
Oh, wow, man. We got so many great things going on. We're doing a lot of the library commercials and community engagement with the middle school to get them involved in the library. We're getting ready for the summer learning program. Obviously the theme is Tales and Tales. We got a Baby Shark program coming out. We got an Animal Masquerade. We got a lot of great programming virtually that I think is going to be an incredible experience. On top of, we got a lot of to-go kits. We retransforming our youth services area to make it an early literacy center. We want it, every time you come into the library, to be an experience. That's
excellent. Yeah.
It's so important.
And that'll be fun. Yeah, I'm actually doing a robotics class for the beginning of summer learning. It'll be out there. It hasn't been publicized yet, but we're going to do this little robotics thing for something coming up here. So we're all going to have all sorts of fun. Okay, let me go up and share our ending slide here for everybody as we get everybody wrapped up. Thank you so much, Sir Billy, for being here. Again, if anybody out there has any questions about today's show, you can always email creationstation@broward.org. And if there's a favorite library or librarian you want to see featured, let me know, and we will try to get them on the show. Have a great week, everybody. Stay safe.
All right, thank you, Bob.